And we're live.
All right, great.
Yeah, we're here a day
Yeah, yeah.
early.
Day early. Yeah, scheduling conflicts. It just didn't make sense to do it on Thursday.
Yeah,
Uh, as you can even see, it's just the two of us. John was totally busy. Um,
yeah. It was a
and I
hard
think
week to
after,
get scheduling done, actually. Yeah.
and unfortunately, we would love to have John because I think after this week he's away for a couple weeks, which
Yeah,
is a
he's
bummer.
taking a vacation. Well
Yeah,
earned one. So, yeah.
coming down to the States for
Yeah.
vacation. Yeah, so and then yeah, no, tomorrow I head down to LA for the weekend, so it would have been like Paul by himself, or we do it a day early and I can be here as well.
I was
Easy
ready to
choice.
go. I was just gonna talk about Diablo Immortal a little bit and some news and then call it a night if I was by myself. So, but yeah. I mean, it's always better when you have somebody to bounce stuff off of. Way easier.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, how's your week been? How's your 6 days been?
It's been okay. Nothing crazy going on over here. Just kind of, I don't know, just tired. I mean, you lived in Calgary, so you know when it gets to summer, sometimes we just get this weird it's raining for like an hour and then it's like really bright and sunny and then it goes to like shitty or whatever, and it's been kind of yo-yoing and it's playing some it's making my head just kind of like woozy and just making me tired, just fatigued. The
Sure,
constant weather changing.
sure. Yeah, no, I definitely I don't miss all the rain, although California definitely needs the rain here, but yeah, it rains here pretty rarely.
Yeah. Yeah. So nothing new otherwise, really.
Been I've been pretty busy at work this week getting ready for the Summer Games Fest
Yep.
happening this weekend. It's one of the reasons I'm going down
Yep.
to LA. Um, but that should be a fun event, little E3 replacement. Looking forward to getting to play some stuff. I don't exactly know what they're going to be showing there. I guess maybe I'll kind of find out during the live stream tomorrow.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but should still be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Should be a good time. I'm a little peeved though, because I keep seeing these things. It's just like showcase at 3 p.m. I'm like, I'm fucking working. What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, that's the middle of the day. That's kind of
Yeah.
how they've always been.
That's why I like the
I
weekend
mean,
stuff, like
I was gonna say
Bethesda,
Xbox has
Xbox,
theirs on Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
Um, but tomorrow's 3 p.m. one, or it's 3 p.m. Pacific is Devolver.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
the one that I care about is Capcom. It's Monday right in the fucking middle of my shift. It's like, yeah, great.
really, out of everything, it's the Capcom one.
Yeah.
I guess Resident Evil. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
Monster Hunter. I want to see more. I like a lot of their games and stuff, so I want to see. I'm kind of hoping they bring some other weird shit back, but I kind of doubt that at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine a lot of like brand new surprises, considering so
Yeah.
much is getting like delayed.
Yeah.
I mean, even Keeley was out there trying to like temper expectations for his live stream of like, hey, it's going to be kind of deeper looks at already announced titles. Not, but it's Keeley. I'm sure he'll have some world premieres.
Of course. Yeah.
Um, but I bet not as many as in the past or as he would have liked.
Sure.
I'm obviously excited for the Xbox One,
Yeah. It should be okay.
especially with all the GoldenEye achievements showing up this week. Like
Yeah.
that has to be announced at that show, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. There was a few other things I was reading up on in speculation. I don't remember any of it right now, but there are some things that was like that would be cool if they said something about that.
I saw an article. Kotaku wrote an article of, I guess, some fans are thinking that the fact that Phil Spencer
Hmm.
loaded up Banjo Kazooie and got one achievement and played for 45 minutes means there might be a Banjo Kazooie announcement.
Okay.
Just the level of conspiracy theorists out there
That's
is
pretty great.
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
But that's just pretty funny. I'm obviously excited for the Devolver showcase because
Yeah.
that's always just an enjoyable live stream.
Like, what weird little movie did they put together this time, sort of thing?
Yeah, like last year it was like the weird hot dog thing, and they were like carrying around to the CEO. I love that it's always like the CEO
Yeah.
of Devolver is the one doing this. So it's like, man, that's just you guys are cool all the way to the top. Apparently, like that's great to see. Um, what else? I guess that's that Xbox, and I always have a fun time at Keely's events because he's just so excited to be like doing a game event. So
Yeah.
that's always like infectious almost.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first one tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you going down tomorrow after work or during work or
After work.
after?
After work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be watching the live streams as they happen and covering those for work, then driving down in the evening.
Okay. Cool.
But one of the cool things, and I'll say here, we were talking about it just beforehand, that I'm pretty excited about is that the Summer Games Fest event, I get to interview Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I'm very nervous. So everyone send me some well wishes. But I'll get to chat with Keighley himself and put a video together about that.
Yeah.
If you have any cool questions that I should ask Keighley, send them my way. They can't be any worse than the questions my coworkers came up with.
Oh, really? Are there some like I'm not asking him that type of questions?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. But yeah, and that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah. So anyway, we're talking about games already. Let's formalize it because this is the top-down perspective. June 8th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck. Pre-3. Oh, we can't even use that anymore. God damn it.
Pre-3. Oh, I think the one people are using is Key 3.
Okay, pre-Key 3.
Pre-Key. Well, I don't know. Like Summer Games Fest kind of has started. Technically, the State of Play last week was branded Summer Games Fest. But what does that even mean? Like, what does it mean to be a part of Summer Games? Like, who even knows? I don't know.
Totally, yeah.
Okay, what have you been playing?
This last weekend, I just dove in harder into Diablo Immortal for a while. Mainly because I got a couple buddies that I play games with to jump in, and we just had a pretty good night of hanging out, just doing some grinding, chatting, and that sort of thing.
Is this the PC version?
I was playing on PC. 2 of them were playing on phones while on Discord, and I think the other friend was on PC as well. So yeah, half and half.
Right on.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time. Honestly, I think that game is pretty good, which is why the way it's monetized is like feels worse.
I haven't beat the game yet or whatever, but it is extremely easy to just ignore all the monetization stuff. Like at no point have I thought to myself, "Oh man, if I just put in like $1, I could do XYZ."
Yeah, people are mad because the monetization exists, which sure, okay. Also the fact that there are people that are into Diablo are into the loot grind for the best gear, best in slot, everything, and all that sort of stuff. And that's the stuff that you need to grind out with the things that you can buy for rifts, the challenge rifts or whatever, that drop legendary crap and gems and stuff like that. So that's what people are mad about, because the people that play Diablo games like that min-maxing end game, and the min-maxing end game here is dependent on how much money you're willing to spend. So that's why they're really upset more than anything. If you don't care about that shit like me, this is totally fine.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, there's no way I'm going to be trying to like get a couple more points in my armor.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna play through it once and be like, yeah, I'm good.
Also, it's become the mob meme right now to just absolutely annihilate it because of that. And, like, fair enough. I don't care about Activision Blizzard. They have a whole slew of things that they should be raked over the coals for. This is probably one of the least important ones, in my opinion, from them. But, I mean, I couldn't care less about people, like, being mad about that stuff or whatever. I think it's a little bit overblown. But again, if you actually really like the Diablo like endgame stuff, then I could see why you'd be mad. 100%, I get it. It's made me want to play Diablo 3 again because that's just the better full game. This is a mobile game. Like, this is the easy baby version of that. So
Would have been interesting if they had added in a monetization option of like, hey, if you just give us like $10, $15,
yeah.
you can have the game without the monetization in it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. And then I was thinking, what's the maximum I would pay for this game? I think it's $30 or $40 without having to worry about like any of that stuff. Just like, yeah, this is just a Diablo game that you don't have to worry about us bugging you about shit or weird timers or any of that shit. Like, yeah. $30.
I can't imagine that price point going over because
No.
it's a mobile game.
It wouldn't go
Like
over.
when like Square Enix prices their mobile games over $10, that's like a rarity, and people are not happy about that, despite it being like it's the same price on Steam. Like, why are you upset about this?
Yeah.
But I could have seen them just because you can still get it for free, and then just having the option of like, hey, shoot us, $15-20, and we'll just turn that stuff off.
Yeah.
Then maybe that would have led to other people just being upset of like, they just want us to pay $15-20. But then the argument's like, yeah, but you would have done that if it was a full, like, so I don't even like, no.
And then maybe they actually would have released it in the Netherlands and Belgium and these places with the anti-gambling laws as just like a product that you can buy. Like, maybe they would have got those people too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Sure. I might have even just like bought it for $15. Like, I am totally enjoying this game. I think it's easily worth that. And the fact that I'm getting it for free, that's pretty great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You and I are very much in the minority of online discourse about this thing.
I mean, you say that, but I bet we're not, because this is a mobile game that's free to play. I bet the majority is casuals just jumping in this because they've heard of Diablo.
No, I mean vocal, like people on a podcast talking about games. We are definitely in the minority of people like outwardly saying this thing's fine. Because yeah, in the game, people like meme about it. I see the like, there's clans that like, yes, we have phones, or don't you have phones? Like, there's a whole bunch of those. And how much money does it cost to like play through this area or whatever? Like, people are memeing about it, but nobody's like crazy about it. All I see is a discourse about how this is like ruining gaming and this is the worst thing to ever happen. It's like, that's insane. You sound crazy.
Yeah. Like, the one argument I could maybe see is like, it has been a record length of time since between Blizzard releasing games.
Yeah.
This one, and I can't remember what their last one was. Was it Overwatch 1? The last game.
If we're not counting World of Warcraft expansions, yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and I guess if we're not counting Diablo 2's remake, so like full new games, so from what I understand, this is the longest. So I could see some fans being like, it's been X years and the new game is a mobile thing, blah blah blah, and it's like, give us a full game. I mean, Diablo 4 has announced, but who knows when that's ever going to come out.
Yeah. I get it too.
Like,
Diablo is one of my favorite properties. Like, Diablo has a special place in my heart for PC gaming in general, and it's one of my favorite properties I have. The way they've treated the Diablo franchise is absurd. Like, I don't know. Before even they announced Diablo Immortal, it just seemed like they didn't give a shit. They stopped completely doing anything with Diablo 3 or talking about any of that stuff. GOG was like the only way to get Diablo 1 working for a while or whatever because of problems they were having on their back end. They don't care about Warcraft like at all anymore. So yeah, I get it. Like, if you are a Diablo fan and then this is what they give you, where it's just like, oh, if you want to play the true Diablo experience that you like, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Like, yeah, that sucks. But at the same time, I haven't felt the need to spend any at all. Like, it asks you to a lot, but it doesn't like force you to. You just close that window. It's standard free to play shit.
Right. Yeah. And I think you just have to kind of accept, like, hey, this isn't the exact Diablo for me. Maybe you put in some money because you would have spent $60.
Yeah.
And then you have to look into yourself and be like, all right, and now I'm going to wait for 4.
So
That's just how it is.
I bought the season pass because it's $5. There is a like $30 a month option, and I was like, no, see, that is too much. That's predatory.
Well, I mean, it depends what you get. So, if it's worth $30 a month, like go ahead. I know Fortnite has a monthly subscription you can do, but it's closer to $10. But either way, if you can
Yeah,
justify the price,
if you want to pay for it, go for it. For me, $30 a month is too much. That's ridiculous price. $5 for like some extra jewels and shit randomly. Fine, I'm down with that.
well, how much is like Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14 monthly?
Final Fantasy 14, like $15 roughly a month. Cheaper if you buy in bulk, like 3, 6, and yearly subscriptions.
Sure. And is that just to play, or do you get stuff from that purchase as well?
It's just to play.
Okay, so then look at that already. Like $15, that's just to play.
Yeah.
Let's say they were giving you some of the bonuses that this $5 a month one. Now you're getting to $20. You're getting pretty close to $30.
Yeah.
Like, this is not unheard of.
Yeah, no, you could justify it, especially if you do a lot of mobile gaming. Like, I think maybe a big part of it too is that culturally in the world, like North America isn't as big into mobile gaming as like China and Japan and other places. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yep. No, there's definitely like a stigma there. Absolutely. But it's only a stigma from like a certain age group, because I'm sure kids they're like
kids
totally
love mobile
fine,
gaming,
despite them not even having the money to be a part of this. Like, mobile games are games to them. So
yeah, they love mobile gaming because a lot of it's free. They can ignore all the money stuff because they don't have the money anyways, and they get to just like hang out with their buddies or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really all I've been doing, unless you want to talk about Resident Evil 4, which I don't know why you would, because I've said before that that game's fine, and my opinion hasn't changed.
Okay, well, I mean, if you don't have anything new to say,
I don't.
then yeah, we can move on to my stuff. I've been playing a bit of Maneater on Game Pass.
I love Maneater. I really like that game.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
The story stuff specifically, I really like just how dumb it is.
Yeah, no, it's super dumb. I think my favorite part is just every time the narrator says something about like a landmark or something like that. Those are just some pretty goofy jokes. Playing it, I'm not the biggest fan.
It is floaty for obvious reasons.
Well, it's also more just like I need more powers, because right now it's like, hey, collect all these like billboards or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but those are on land, and I can't go on land. I'm sure sooner or later I'm gonna get like oxygen lungs or some nonsense.
Yeah. Yep. That's a
and
thing.
for right now, it's just like, and I hate going over here because the alligators are too strong. So I'm just like grinding against these like turtles for a bit, I guess.
Sure.
So there's that, but it's fine. There's enough there with the hook to keep me going. I'm only in like the second area, but I got like the electric bite.
Okay, you're actually at the part where it starts ramping up, so it will become more and more enjoyable as you go from here on.
Well, I did kill the first like hunter guy.
Oh, but did you?
Oh shit! So that's exciting to hear. Okay, nice. There's an expansion for that game as well.
Yeah,
so,
I never got to it.
So I have that waiting if I want to get back into it.
Cool.
On top of that, I'm on the final boss of Elden Ring.
Okay. The final, like the final gauntlet, right? Because there's a few, I guess, is the way I'll put it. I wouldn't say it's like one fight. It's like the end. I don't know. It's hard to explain without spoiling, so I'm not going to.
From what I understand, there's like 3 kind of bosses in a row.
Yeah. So
there's like a pause in between them where you can like a grace point. So I've done 2 of the 3.
Oh, okay. That's what I was actually specifically going to ask. Okay, cool.
Okay. And the last one, I just wanted to get Malenia done beforehand.
Yeah, that which fight.
Yeah, no, I definitely just found someone to carry me through that. Like, absolutely. There's no way I was gonna bang my head against it, especially because like I'm this close to the end. I didn't want to sit there and be like, well, I'm gonna muscle my way through this one and then beat it 2 weeks from now. No, it's like I kind of want to start wrapping this up. So I just like put down the like furling finger outside Malenia, and that out of every boss I've been to has had the most people willing to help you out.
Yeah.
So there was something actually pretty fun about just like, I don't know, this guy's character looks cool. Let's see how good you are. And
Oh
I can tell
yeah,
you, everyone's really good at the first like half, and then the second half, it's
they
like
die.
they like die, and it's like, well, I guess I'll practice this part, and then or I'll just quit because like this is not happening.
Yeah,
And then I found one dude. PSA: if you find a dude wearing no armor,
he's your
that's the
man.
guy you want to invite.
Yeah,
Um, and his name was like over 200 kills, and he looked like Robbie Rotten from uh,
from
um,
Lazy Town.
Lazy Town. Like he just had this massive chin and a mustache, and I was like, let's see how this guy does it. And oh yeah, that was great. It was also fun just seeing tons of different people's builds. Because
Mhm.
I know my build, which I've kind of stayed with the whole time, using primarily like the Moonveil katana.
Mhm.
And then my co-op buddy, I know like his build. So I hadn't seen a lot of these other builds, but I'll like start a match with Melania with a random, and all of a sudden he's like using these like crazy like blood laser swords. And it's like this is so much. This is cool. It was just nice seeing a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
Um, took maybe like 5 attempts when I brought in some randos.
Did you
But yeah,
try
got that
solo
done.
just to take a look at it?
I did try solo, and like I even tried with like using the mimic, and then like they got all their health back, and I'm like, this is just not gonna happen.
The mimic is just a like surefire way to ensure that you heal Melania.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is because a lot of times when I was doing the bosses by myself, it was like, all right, I still got the mimic here, so this is doable. But the fact that they're like, nah, you can't use any summons. I'm like, I do not feel like learning this boss for 2 weeks.
Fair.
I would like to finally get this done. I'm 100 hours into this game. I see
Yeah.
the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to just stand still.
Yeah. Super fair.
Um, but yeah, so that's done. So I have the final boss to do. I'm thinking of just doing the like cloud saving nonsense to see all 3 endings.
You should.
I
Definitely.
have them all lined up, ready to go.
Cool. Yep. You should.
Uh, I think I haven't done every single boss because I know there's definitely some like wandering ones, especially the ones at night that I haven't done. But I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna do the end, see
Yeah.
the 3 endings, and call it. It'll be nice to finally be done with that because then I can like really focus on other stuff,
Sure.
like Roller Champions.
Yeah. Man. It just didn't line. I wanted to try this out, but it didn't line up. I was busy when they were doing their beta thing, and yeah.
Yeah, so this is fully out
Yeah.
now. It's a free to play roller basketball game.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really good.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of like Knockout City vibes of just a kind of a fun little cartoony sports game.
Okay.
The way it works is it's 3-on-3, and you're in like an oval arena. And what you do is when your team gets the ball, your team has to get the ball around one lap, and then you're allowed to shoot at the hoop. And it's a sideways hoop, similar to like the Road to El Dorado, if you
Oh.
remember that movie and the little sports game in there.
Yeah.
Um, but what you can do is you can like bank your laps to get more points. So if you complete 2 laps with the ball and you score a goal, it's actually 3 points. If you complete 3 laps and score, it's 5. And the game is first to 5 wins. So you could just try and like go the whole way and score in one shot. It's pretty hard to hang on to the ball because the other teammates, the other opponents can tackle you, and people can go either way in the oval. You don't all have to be going counterclockwise. So what you'll often want to do is if you're on defense, you're trying to get the ball back, is you just turn around so that you're going right towards them as they come towards you. And then that's when the strategy comes in of you can jump, you can pass the ball, and it's a lot of like using your momentum as you're going like down because each the oval is curved on the sides, so it's a lot of kind of like surfing style going up and down and gaining momentum when you go down. You can also grab teammates ahead of you and launch yourself forward. It'll take some of their momentum away, but you'll gain like a whole bunch. So there's a lot of kind of strategy to like when you should be like pulling on your teammates, when you should be passing, and
Okay.
it does feel really nice though when you come in and just horizontally toss your body into someone to knock the ball out of their hands. So that's pretty fun.
It does sound like there's a little more thought in here than I thought there would be, honestly, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, like it really does kind of remind me of Knockout City, since that had like, spin shots and lob
Yeah.
shots and a whole bunch. There was a way you could like really kind of get into it. Um, so I definitely think it's worth checking out, especially because it's free to play. So it's just available everywhere.
Hmm.
And it's funny because the customization, all the hairstyles are tied to like helmets and whatnot. So everybody
Sure.
starts out bald, which is pretty
Okay.
funny. Because a lot of people are new, or maybe I'm just matchmaking with them because I was also new. But it'll be like a whole team of like bald people
You gotta earn your
against a
hair in this league.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then it's always funny because since everyone starts off super plain, and then you look in the other team and there's like one person who's like super decked out, and you're like, oh shit, this person's gonna like do circles around us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I recommend it. Like, definitely worth checking out. Again, that's Roller Champions.
Somebody just shows up on the other team with a ponytail down to their knees. You're like, oh, fuck.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Let's do some news. Not a ton this week. Everyone's kind of waiting for this weekend, so I'm sure we'll have a lot more when we do our
Next week's gonna be
debrief
brutal.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, compared to most E3 years, probably not,
Yeah.
but there will definitely be some news next week.
Yeah.
Here was a fun little report from over at Fanbyte. Nintendo is sitting on a sequel to 1-2 Switch and apparently has no plan what to do with it yet.
I saw
It's going to
this.
have more mini games. There's going to be smartphone games a la Jackbox with up to 100 players. Assuming that would mean, like, if you're streaming it,
Yeah. Hmm.
no way you're going to have 100 people locally.
Probably them like
Um,
voting on something, right? Like Jackbox,
yeah.
essentially.
But the big reason that they don't know what to do with it is that it has gotten horribly negative reviews from all their play tests.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that part.
That's kind of the big part. So they have this sequel ready to go, but whenever they play test it, nobody likes this game. To be honest with
Well,
you, this is the least surprising thing I could think of.
sure.
1-2 Switch kind of sucks. It is good for, I would say, an hour when the Switch has first launched and you haven't seen something like that before.
Yeah, the fact that
That's
that
about
wasn't
it.
a pack-in or installed on Switches as a tech demo is baffling to me.
It is absolutely insane. I can't believe it would never it turned into a pack in,
Right.
or that they finally just said, okay, you know what, we're just gonna like release this for free on the eShop. Here you guys go. I bet if I looked up 1-2 Switch eShop right now, it is an offensively high price.
I bet it hasn't gone down at all.
Switch on the eShop.
I'm gonna guess it's $50.
So this is digital. I guess I put, because I put eShop.
Yeah.
It is $50.
Holy
It is
shit!
20. It is 2022, and Nintendo is happily allowing you to spend $50 on 1-2 Switch.
You know how many gems in Diablo Immortal you could buy? Like one.
Um, yeah, that's insane. I own 1-2 Switch because I was having a party and I was like, well, this will be something to do at a party, and I've never touched that game since,
Yeah.
and I completely regret buying that game.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
I don't know. Who's even asking for a sequel to 1-2 Switch? The only reason I can think this thing was greenlit is because there was not a lot of games at launch, and so people bought 1-2 Switch. So like kind of the whole Red Steel, like, well, it was there, so people bought Red Steel on the Wii, so now we're making a Red Steel 2.
I'm guessing the reason why it exists is because they created like 100 mini games, chose a bunch of them, and said, "Well, we have like all this pile of other ones left over. Why don't we create a sequel?"
Yeah, I don't know. One thing I'm curious, what would you call it?
God damn. I know there's a joke in there somewhere.
I'm just trying to think, like, just in general, like, what would you call it? Like 1-2 Switch again? Because I don't think you call it 1-2 Switch 2.
Oh, I see.
1-2-3 Switch? That's a weird. Like, what do you even call it?
3, 2, 1 switch. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what the ESA is doing. They have stated that E3 is going to return in 2023.
Oh, thank God. Could you imagine if there wasn't an event around this time to like give us a bunch of news about games? I can't imagine.
Hey, I mean, personally, I like it's. I find it an exciting time when a whole bunch of game news happens all at once. Um,
No, I'm just saying that like we don't need E3 specifically because this is just going to happen forever now.
okay, the let's get the full story out of the way. The quote here is, "We're excited about coming back in 2023 with both a digital and an in-person event." E3 last year, the last E3 was like quasi-digital events.
Yeah.
Um, and then the few years prior to that, from everyone who I heard who went to E3, it was kind of like Edsville. They had brought the public in, weirdly long lines to get in. I, I'm curious, like, so I asked this to you. How do you see the E3 coming back? Do you see it successful? Do you see they've changed anything? Do you think it's a complete repeat of the last ones? What do you imagine here?
I think they signed a deal with Jeff Keighley to just basically call Summer Games Fest E3 and pay him a truck of money. Because I don't know what else you do. Like, Jeff Keighley is the one people are listening to now, and the fact that E3 didn't have anything this year and kind of let him have complete free reign just kind of solidified that, as far as I think most people are concerned.
Well, I think one of the questions is Keeley's thing is a lot smaller for obvious reasons.
Sure.
And from what I heard at E3 is booth space was expensive. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of publishers and developers that were there that often didn't have a lot to show, but they didn't want to get rid of the booth space because it meant they would lose it.
Yeah.
One example that comes to mind is one of the last physical E3s was like the Konami booth. It was
Yeah.
just a huge empty space
Yeah.
because they didn't have any games, but they didn't want to lose the booth space in case they wanted to have games in the future. I don't know. So it's like Keeley's smaller thing allows, I'm assuming, is cheaper for companies to showcase at.
Yep.
Um, but E3 is going to want to be a big thing.
I would think so. Do you think maybe they
Yeah.
work with him to kind of
Well,
do
so what
something?
is his role in that case?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do like the exhibition hall type. We have the building and the space and like people showing up, and you do all of the presentational stuff and all the internet side of things.
I personally think Keeley doing that it's almost beneath him.
Yeah,
Like I
no,
feel
I
like
don't
he
think
has a
Keeley
better image.
totally.
Yeah.
Also,
Um,
they kind of like if I remember, wasn't there some like weird snarky tweets between the two of them on one of the like last years or something? Like, I don't think that they had a great like falling out
nothing's coming to
necessarily.
mind for me. Like maybe, but I can't recall anything specific.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I would be curious to see which publishers, which companies feel that E3 is still necessary with them coming back.
Yeah.
I'm almost curious if this 2023 E3 even happens,
Yeah.
or if the ESA is just announcing this in hopes to drum up some attention. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw people like, I don't know, Square, Activision, whoever, Ubisoft, just being like, "Nah, we're good. Like we've been doing our own live streams for 2 years now, and it's working for us."
Yeah.
Like I'm sure they were asking themselves beforehand, is it worth spending all this money at E3?
Right.
And even now, is it worth even more? Because now they don't have to make a demo,
Yep.
and that's a big great thing for the developers if they don't have to make a demo for E3. Um,
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is
Xbox,
them being contractually obligated to be like, we have people on lists, we have shareholders of some sort, we have people that rely on us to at least say that we're going to try it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure E3 is a money making venue for the ESA, so they would like
Yeah.
it to come back. I just can't see the developers and the publishers wanting to come back
Agreed.
after. doing 2 years of this.
Totally.
Um,
Yep.
but I don't know. Maybe somehow E3 comes back in like a huge big way and shows why it matters. That would be cool. I like E3 existing. Um, even like Microsoft has enough developers and publishers under its belt. It could make its own event.
Yeah.
You could just say, "Hey, this is Xbox Day, and here's the new thing from Activision, and all the stuff coming from Blizzard, and everything coming from Bethesda." Like they could do their own thing easily.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll see next year. I would not be surprised if this falls apart, or it's kind of like comes out and it's just wet and it's just not useful, and it's like the last one. It's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Speaking of things falling apart.
Yes. Oh well, this one's improving. Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, the Smash alike with Nickelodeon characters, now has voice acting.
Yeah. That's exciting.
That's exciting because
Yep.
I always thought it was crazy that that game that was based on all these characters you're supposed to love, you didn't get their personalities in there. So it's like, what are you even doing?
Totally.
Like I didn't. I'm not a huge fan of Cat Dog well, that's a bad example. I was going to say I'm not a huge fan of Cat Dog because of the way it looks, but I am a huge fan of Cat Dog
Of
because of the way it
course.
looks.
Yeah.
But I want to hear those characters that I grew up, watching, and I guess now you can. So good for them.
Yeah.
I don't hear anyone talking about this game. I can't imagine it's going to be doing much.
Yeah. I'm sure they thought that this maybe would drum up a little more talk than it did for it.
And also with like multiverses, that seems to be what people are kind of leaning towards these days.
Yep.
Who even knows if that has legs to it?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yep. This is the one I meant about things falling apart. Just for the
Sure.
listeners.
So we've been following the trials and tribulations of the Prince of Persia remake, and this last week, GameStop has stopped taking pre-orders for it. They're being instructed to let people who pre-order it know that it will not be arriving, and it's being on the website being switched to unavailable. The game is getting delisted. Here's the statement from Ubisoft. This is from the IGN article. In a statement to IGN, Ubisoft says, the development of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake will now be led by Ubisoft Montreal. We're proud of the work achieved by Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai, and Ubisoft Montreal will benefit from their learnings as the new team will continue to work to deliver a great remake. That part we already knew. The new stuff,
Yeah.
Ubisoft added. As a consequence, we are no longer targeting a fiscal year 23 release anymore, and the game has been delisted. If players wish to cancel their pre-order, they are invited to contact the retailer. There will be update on the project as the development is moving along. Fiscal year 23 ends in March of next year, so it's getting pushed out at close to a year at least.
Yeah.
Ask again, what on earth could be going on with this remake? Like,
Yeah.
the first Prince of Persia game does not seem like a complicated game to me. They made 4 of these and a spin-off game that was pretty much the same thing. How is this thing so difficult?
I don't know. It definitely doesn't make those Indian offices look very good in this either, though. I think it might be like, I'm looking on their site. There's a lot of openings at these offices they mentioned. So I'm wondering if they just like ran out of staff or had staffing issues.
I was looking at a Twitter thread a little while back. This was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where someone was kind of talking about what some of the issues were, why it was getting rushed. I wish I had it in front of me to kind of to reference some of the stuff, but it sounded like it launched, the project launched in a pretty haphazard way, with like no documentation from the original stuff and whatnot. So they were kind of set up to fail.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, that information's somewhere out there because I definitely did not make that up. I promise.
Yeah.
All right, that's the news. Let's do some questions. TopDownPerspective@gmail.com is the email address, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. This first one comes from Suku. A lot of betas and unreleased games have been showing up decades after. So I was wondering, are there any unreleased games that you'd want to surface? Or maybe a beta build of a game you'd love to see? Yeah, Prince of Persia remake.
Ooh, got him.
Actually, on top of that,
mhm.
and more serious, I would love to see that reimagined Prince of Persia that turned into Assassin's Creed.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I'd like to see kind of how that was.
Sure.
There was like screenshots of that had come out.
There has to be. I should read these questions in advance and like spend the day thinking about them, honestly. Because some of them are like really hard. Like, I'm sure there's an answer to this. I can't think of currently.
No unreleased games that come to mind?
No, because a lot of the things I would say have been dug up by survival horror communities and released in some form. So, like, those don't count because they exist.
Okay.
Oh, StarCraft Ghost. I was really looking forward to that for a long time growing up, and then it just died. I would love to see, like, anything they had on that, really.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the more infamous ones. I feel like I'm just so far away from StarCraft Ghosts when getting canceled that it's like I just don't care anymore. Like
Sure, yeah.
that was so long ago.
Sure, I get it. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Boko writes, recently against my better judgment, I decided to play Stunt Race FX on the Switch. While playing it, I said, oh god, I can count the frames several times. What's the last experience you had with this or something similar? What's your worst experience with it?
So games that just are running like real poorly.
Yeah.
The last couple Pokemon games, anytime they're doing their open world stuff, those run pretty poorly and they get kind of ugly looking.
Sure.
I shouldn't say last couple because Diamond and Pearl were just remakes. That one was fine, but I just remember like the open area in Sword and Shield, and then Pokemon Legends looks pretty bad as well.
Yeah, intro week or like release week, Elden Ring ran like fucking shit. Holy fuck, it ran so bad. And then they patched it and it was okay.
Just on PC, right?
I mean, I played on PC.
Yeah, I think. Well, I just remember the PC one people were complaining about. I don't remember a lot of complaints on the console ones.
Mm-hmm.
Although we do have someone in the chat saying PS4 version was
that
not
makes
great,
sense.
but that is last gen. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't expect it to run very well. Digital Foundry just put out a pretty good video about running some current games on original Xbox Ones.
Okay.
And just seeing how they went. I think Forza Horizon was on there, and like the load times, it was like 2-3 minutes long. I'm trying to see what
I have another answer for this, and also this is another thing that was either speculated on or maybe reported today or yesterday. Deadly Premonition 2 runs like fucking shit.
Yeah.
Also, there is reason to believe it's coming out on Steam very soon. So
okay, they tested Cyberpunk 2077, they tested Call of Duty Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, Elden Ring, Tales of Arise, Grid Legends, Forza Horizon 5. I guess those are the game specific. They tested all of those on like pretty much launch Xbox One. So that's a pretty fun video worth checking out to see how those games look and load these days.
Yeah. Also,
that's a good test because Xbox is all about like, hey, it works on all of our systems. You know, backwards compatibility. That's great. So that's a fun test to do.
Yeah. Also, I should clarify, Deadly Premonition 2 is out on PC because there was a Steam release trailer. It
Right.
went live and then was privated. So I don't know if they're going to flip the switch back on, but there is a version of that available somewhere I guess that maybe they released too early before the announcement or something.
Okay. Right. Right.
Are you, I'm I might try again. I don't know. I guess I'll wait for somebody's video of the PC version because there's no way it could run as bad, right? Right?
Right. Well, that's not even like my biggest problem with how it ran. That game is just boring.
Yeah.
Like it's just once again, it's a super empty environment, but you don't even get like a ton of like the fun, goofy banter. And then the quests you're doing are like shoot 5 squirrels
Squirrels or
that
something,
blend
right?
into this horrible ground.
Yeah. I'll probably give it another shot, maybe. For cheap.
Good
It'll go
luck.
on sale at some point.
The Phantom Aegis writes, "What's your favorite fighting game that is purely on the character's design?" Mine's probably
Um
Skullgirls.
Oh, Skullgirls is real good. That's a great answer. Yeah, I'm stealing that. That's my answer now. Skullgirls.
Not only do they have great character designs, but like the animation is so good because it was like a top priority to them. So,
Yeah.
um, although I have heard great people saying Guilty Gear in the chat, I have seen the Guilty Gear art is fantastic.
Yep.
Um, so those ones just look really nice as well.
Yeah, for sure. VGC Kenny writes, do you think a sequel to something always needs to up the ante, or can they be allowed to be less dramatic than the previous iteration and allow us just to go back to the world?
This is interesting. I feel like
Yeah.
typically we do see the sequels ramp stuff up. Then you run into an issue of like this is getting exhausting because now
Yeah.
it's like every week the world's ending.
Yep.
Um,
Can you think of a sequel that like did dial it back a considerable amount? I know they're out there. I just can't think of one.
the first thing that comes to mind, and this is they're almost kind of cheating, is the Assassin's Creed series because they get to restart with a new protagonist each time and like a
Oh,
new
yeah.
time period. So they get to kind of reset things.
More of an anthology almost with like a through line of Desmond, or at least in the beginning.
Right, and they have that now with Layla, so it's almost like they're kind of doing trilogies.
Mm.
That by the end of the trilogy, it's like, yeah, we're saving the world again.
Mm-hmm.
But at least from the like the ancestor story, they do kind of reset it each time, which is nice.
Sure. Apparently, Chain of Memories is less dire than Kingdom Hearts 1. I'll take your word for it, so that's a great example.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't argue. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Our Kingdom
This
Hearts
makes me think of like
correspondent is not here, unfortunately.
exactly. This does make me think of like the first Ant-Man movie, where it was nice to see like, oh, this is not like a world-ending thing. He just wants to like save his daughter.
Yeah. That
The
it
end.
also makes me kind of excited about what they might do with Spider-Man from here on out. They kind of did a reset, so hopefully that stays
Right. And
similar.
again, that started like super low key and then immediately went to like globe trotting. And then the multiverse is now in peril, so it just got bigger and bigger. Um, no, I definitely love it when they make the stakes smaller and more personal. And that's how you do it. Instead of the world ending, it's like this person's world is ending because that just leads to some really great character moments.
How, I guess it's hard to talk about because I didn't play it and it's spoilery and a story thing. How does Life is Strange 2 do for this? Does it go bigger in the second one? Not Before the Storm, like the actual numbered one. I
Yeah,
guess.
like two. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how that one ends because like the first Life is Strange, like the whole town is in danger, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty
And
big
that's kind of
event.
the big thing.
Hmm.
And that I mean that's another one that's similar to the Assassin's Creed example of new character they get to reset it.
True. Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
so like I would say True Colors, it is a more personal one. I think that's a good example, and that's more recent, so I can remember that one. Two, I don't think there's any like. I want to say it's a smaller issue. It's a more personal story as well. Again, so one might have the biggest kind of consequences outside of the like main characters involved. So that's probably a good example. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And Dead writes the last question. If the Wii U is successful, how does the Switch change?
Backwards compatibility instead of re-releasing for new hardware. For like the Wii games that came out. Like they would have made the infrastructure somehow closer so that you could play the Wii U games probably on the Switch somehow, rather than re-release them completely.
Okay, sure.
Like an
Yeah,
emulator of sorts.
because right, because the only reason they're re-releasing it is nobody owned
Right.
the thing. Okay. It's an interesting question. I feel like the Switch would not have come out as soon.
Yep.
It probably would have been pushed back a couple years because the lifespan of the Wii U
It probably
would
would
have
have been more
lasted
powerful
longer.
because of it, too.
Probably a bit more powerful, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Nintendo doesn't often do like half-step consoles with their home consoles. That's more of a
Right.
handheld thing.
Right.
Because it is like you go back and you look at the two designs of them, and like the Switch is so much slimmer and sleeker than the Wii U's tablet.
Yeah.
But I still don't see them coming out with like a new tablet that's kind of in between. I don't know.
What if they
Could you see
make a
that?
second generation Wii U with a thinner tablet that also has like cloud or mobile capabilities, but
Well,
more so?
that's kind of my point. Is
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't really do those half-step consoles when it comes to their home stuff. They do that with the handhelds. Like we got a slimmer DS, we get slimmer Game Boys. We never got like a slimmer, more compact GameCube. Never got a
Yeah.
slimmer, more compact Wii, unless you count the like Canadian Wii minus.
I don't.
Yeah, that like that thing was just a weird thing that exists. Um, There
Yeah.
was talk near the beginning of the Wii U where where they said there would be scenarios where you would use two of the game pads, like multiplayer stuff, but that never happened. I don't think any game ever supported two Wii U tablets.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe some of that stuff actually would have been realized.
Yeah.
I do also wonder, so if you delay the Switch, even like a year or so, do you delay Breath of the Wild? Because Breath of the Wild did come out on the Wii U.
I mean, I played it on the Wii U. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
what do you think?
do you delay it? No, probably not. I think that was always just going to come out
'Cause Nintendo does
at time.
like launching their consoles lately with a Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with the Wii and the GameCube as well with Twilight
Yeah,
Princess. So yeah, that's true.
exactly. Yeah. So I could see them wanting to to help push Switch sales, put Zelda there. Or well, a year later, maybe you don't delay Zelda, but maybe you delay Mario Odyssey. That
Yeah.
was later
Okay.
in the year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little less of a delay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. True.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting question for sure.
Yeah.
What could have happened? That's going to do it for questions. If you would like to send in questions next week, topdownperspective at gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
I'll give it to Resident Evil 4. I liked it more than Diablo.
And I'm going to give mine to Elden Ring once again.
Nice.
If you are a TBP listener, we are going to be our next episode that will be coming out this Monday is going to be all about the unbearable weight of massive talent, aka the Nick Cage movie. So hopefully you are looking forward to that.
You should watch it.
Otherwise, we'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think you should watch that movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be back next week with some post T3 announcements to talk about. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.